Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. All right, so Dogecoin has been following the Fibonacci retracement levels like crazy, or the Fibonacci retracement levels have been acting as support and resistance, especially this 23% level. We've been coming down and bouncing in between them. And that's basically what I was wanting when we first started heading down. If you've been watching my videos, I've been saying that if we break out of this Fibonacci retracement box and head up, if we pass like around .484, then it's going to be a little bit harder to know where we're going to go, which would be good. I mean, it's good that we're moving up like crazy, but if we're traders, we want to stay. But if we're traders, we could take advantage of staying in this Fibonacci retracement box, and we use these Fibonacci retracement levels to buy and sell, potentially. So what happens is we have a big, huge run. We start thinking that we've topped out, or we start having trouble we start having trouble pushing up further, and we just had trouble in here. So we get the Fibonacci retracement level. We think we kind of topped out for now, and we think we're going to get a correction. We drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, and that gives me those levels that I was just telling you about. So we have the 23, the 38%, the 50%, the 61%, and 78%. So basically, we come up, and when we come down, a lot of times we hit the 50%. In this little retracement, we've been bouncing in between the 38% or the 30, what is it? Yeah, 38% and the 23%. The red one and the yellow green one. Yeah, it's like yellow green, I guess. But check this out on tradingview.com. If you're new to this kind of stuff, subscribe, and I talk about this stuff all the time. But anyways, it's bouncing in between these two lines. When we started heading down, I bought up the 23, I bought up the 38, and I bought up the 50. Limit orders at each of those levels. And then we came down, we bought them all, and then we bounced up. I sold it. I sold a little bit. I sold this position from there to there. Profits, boom. I wanted it to come back down, but it never came back down to this level. It still hasn't. And I have a limit order that's been sitting there since around here, but it hasn't filled that limit order. But anyways, came back through, got a little bit of resistance on that 38%, and then broke through. Got these nice green candles. Look where we got resistance at, though, guys. Right at that 23%. We got that double top right at that 23%. Boom. Started heading down, and then came back down and hit that 38%. Went a little bit below it, but still, so what happened was, came up. The trend started kind of having trouble. We also hit the target number one. That's the first signal to take profits. And then the second thing is we started having trouble. We had trouble right at the target, came down, came up, tested again, had trouble again, and then started going down. That would have been, in my opinion, like right here pretty much. Let's zoom in a little bit more. In my opinion, there was two different signals. We had an uptrend, something like this, where we had support right here. When we broke that uptrend, that was the first signal. And then I would also be looking at the bottoms, something like this right here. If we break that, then that's kind of confirmation and a second signal, so to sell. And then because we're breaking uptrends, and then we're breaking supports. So at this point, then you would sell and you would buy back at that Fibonacci retracement level again, which is what I did. Boom, bought this back up again, and this was actually my biggest position. I talked about this. I've been talking about all this stuff in my previous videos, so go ahead and watch my previous videos if you want to, double check. But I was saying that this is my smallest position, this is my biggest one, and this is like a medium-sized one. And so far, the biggest one has been performing pretty good as far as trading in between these. So I bought when it came down here. It got a bounce to the upside. We were watching this support in my last video, I believe. We were watching like this channel pattern. And then I was saying if we break this trend line going to the downside, then that's when I'll start looking at the Fibonacci retracement level going to the downside, that 38%. I would be taking profits right here, and then looking at setting up another limit order right here. That's basically what happened. We started having trouble right here, started going sideways, Once we broke this one going to a downside, that's when it was confirmation. This one was like the first signal that we might be having trouble heading down. Actually, it was more like this one, because we had support, support, support. We had a trend line right here. We broke that trend line going to the downside. That was the first signal, but we hadn't broken this trend line yet. Once we broke this one, kind of even going sideways, that was like a second signal. And then we had this bottom right here of support. Once we broke that, that was like a confirmation. We came down, we bounced up, like really, like that's actually a lot. From there to there is actually like a good 8%. So if like you're able to take advantage of this little thing, then that's good. I mean, but that's like an 8% drop and then an 8% pump. So if Dogecoin has been like swinging pretty hardcore, or pretty good in my opinion, especially in this little area, which I'll be getting to here in a second. But we came back up. Look at where we got resistance at though. That 23%, like perfectly. Hit that target again and then came down. I didn't take advantage of this one. I sold it and then I waited till it hit. Like I said, I just had a limit order. So I had to wait till just over here till it actually filled it. That was, I think, last night, I believe. And we came down. That's why when we started pumping up, I was like, oh no, I'm missing it. And then it came back down and I was like, okay, cool. And then started heading back up. I was like, oh no, I'm missing it. And then I was like, I'm just going to wait. And in all these little runs to the upside, I was just like, I'm just going to wait, let it come back down and fill that limit order. Boom. But you could have taken it. Like these are big runs. Like I'm telling you, from here to there, that's 11%. And then from the bottom to the top, that's around another 8%. So like I said, it's been, if you've been able to time these trades, then, and what you could do is you could probably set up like a trend line, something like that. And then once it breaks it, going to the downside, then sell it and then watch the downtrend, something like this. And then boom, sell it and then just keep on. And then when it's going up, watch the bottoms. When it's going up, watch the bottoms. And then when it's going down, watch the tops, like the trend line of the tops. You know what I mean? Once it breaks that top, then you know it might be changing direction. When it's going up, once it breaks the bottom, then it might be changing direction. That's basically trend lines in a nutshell. Ooh, and it's starting to dip a little bit. I was thinking, I don't know if I should take profits now or if I should and try to get another Fibonacci. Another limit order at this Fibonacci retracement level, because I was up like, before I made this video, I was up like maybe like 11-12%. I think it was like, yeah, it was like up here, I think. So I'm not sure. I don't know. Because I bought, okay, so it came back down. I bought it right here. It got a huge pump like overnight. And then now it's kind of in this, it hit the target too. So we hit the target. That's the first signal to take profits. And then we also had like there was this trend line. It was just like this big old run to the upside. But the other thing that I was looking at, I'm on the 5-minute time frame right now. That's how fast this chart's running. It was bouncing in between these two trend lines. We had resistance, 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 support, support, support. This one's breaking the support now. I think this might be the confirmation that we might be going down. But I was watching this channel pattern going, and I was thinking if we could break this trend line going to the upside, then maybe we can head back up here and or break it because of this big huge move. Or if we break this trend line going to the downside, if we break that support, the bottom line, then maybe we might be heading back down to the Fibonacci retracement level and we could take advantage of it. The other thing I was kind of thinking of, it kind of reminds me of either a flag or a falling wedge pattern. Both are good patterns. So if we have a flag pattern, it's this big huge pull, consolidation. Once we break that resistance going to the upside, we could target from the top to the bottom of the pull. And let's go ahead and do that. We could target from the top to the bottom, drag that to the breakout, and then we're looking at a target of approximately, it depends where it breaks out. If it did break out, this would be around 0.422. And then the other thing I was thinking of, it kind of looks like not really, but a little bit of a falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern, especially, and then, a lot of times a falling wedge connected to like a flag pattern is kind of like a pennant pattern. So let's see if it can hold support right here. I don't really want to give up on it quite yet, but it is breaking the line that I was kind of like if it breaks this line, then I was like, okay, then this might be like the confirmation that it might be heading to the downside. I think that's, let's see. Let's take a look at like the daily time frame and like the weekly real quick, just to see the, I could just delete all this stuff. I want us to look at the moving averages. If you're not familiar with the channel, and I mean, I talk about it a lot on this channel, but the 9 moving average, I watched this 9 moving average, this blue line. I'm getting rid of all these other lines because I just want to concentrate on this blue line. Let's see if you can see it. Whoops, I'm just going to delete all this stuff. Okay, so we have the 9 moving average, this blue line right here. And basically, when the price is above the blue line, when it breaks above it, then we get bullish action. It gets support on it, it bounces to the upside. When it breaks below it right here, then it comes up to it, tests it, and finds resistance on it, and then it pushes us to the downside. So, okay, so that being said, if we're below it, it's bearish, and if we're above it, then that's bullish. You know what I mean? So, okay, I like watching this on the daily time frame. That's like my favorite time frame for me to like kind of keep track of this on. But let's take a look at it. Right now, we are below the 9 moving average. And like I was saying, when you break below it, a lot of times when you come into contact with it, you're going to have trouble on it, and it's going to give you resistance. And a lot of times it will push you to the downside. Check out what's happening right here, though. This is where you have to, this is when you start to look at, so it's not being super clear, let's say, or it's bouncing in and out of it. We have the 9 moving average right here, and the price is breaking above it. It comes up a little bit, and then it breaks through it. Stays below it for a little bit, breaks above it, has a nice little run, and then breaks below it. It's probably going to stay below it a little bit and then get a nice little run again. Or that's what this pattern's kind of telling us, right? So in that case, what I would do, because usually it's very clear. We break above it, support, support, support. We stay above it for a while. Then we start testing it. Once we break it, then it's like nice and clear. Right here, it's not very clear because we're going in and out of it. What I'm trying to say is, when this situation, we go up to the next time frame, the weekly 9 moving average. Let's take a look at the weekly. All right, so the weekly looks a little more clear, like I was telling you. Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit, kind of zoom in and zoom out. All right, so right here, we broke above it, got support on it for a while. Then we got a nice bounce to the upside. We're clearly above it in this area. Right here, we broke below it, and we're finding resistance on it, finding resistance. We're clearly below it, and we are still below. We are testing it, but the fact that we're below the weekly 9 moving average is not the best. I mean, it is technically bearish. We can break above it, but I don't really love that we're below it. I would rather us, like, let's say, okay, so we have the 9 moving average, right? If we can break above it and then kind of chill in this area and close this candle above the 9 moving average, then I think that would be ideal. That's what I want to see, instead of us being below the 9 moving average on the weekly. And when we go to the daily right now, the daily looks like it's testing it. I wouldn't be surprised if we got another pop to the upside, but we did break below it right here. I don't know. I just think it's crazy how we've been bouncing in between these two these two Fibonacci retracement levels. So I don't know. The 9 moving average, in summary, I guess, is we're testing it right now. I think if we could break above it, then that'll be good. As long as we're below it, that's not great. But like I was saying, right now, the daily 9 moving average, it seems like it's kind of like bouncing in between it, which is good for swing trading, honestly, especially because these Fibonacci retracement levels are coming in handy. And I talked about where I got those levels from, but yeah, and if you go back and watch my videos, when we started coming down, I've been saying, if we can stay in this Fibonacci retracement box, then it's going to be a little bit more predictable than, as far as trading goes, than when we're just running completely up. And I know, like, long-term investing, yeah, I have Doge for long-term too. I want to say go to $1 as well, but in the meantime, it's nice getting these little trades. And like I said, go back and watch my videos. I was saying, hopefully it bounces in between these Fibonacci retracement levels. I don't care if it goes up and down because I bought all of them. And when it comes up to the next one, if it starts going down, then that's when I start taking profits and then setting up the limit order again at the next one. So it comes down, buy it, sell it, set up a limit order. If it doesn't hit it, then I just wait. I'm also trying to accumulate those. So like within this time, I'm also putting a little bit here and there for long term, putting it on my ledger so I don't touch it. That has nothing to do with the trading. You know, I try to keep trading and investing a little bit separate so I can kind of play around and get better at looking at charts and with trading with the actual money. And then with the investing, it's just more about like waiting for it to really pop off later in the future, and just kind of having like holding some basic and I'm like probably like 80%, 85% Bitcoin, and then Ethereum and Bitcoin or Dogecoin are probably like the rest. But yeah, let's see, what else do we got? I don't know. It looks kind of like a little channel here, right? Let's see, something like that. On the daily time frame, should I say? Because we were looking at it on the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour has been pretty good, actually. I mean, I've been looking at, like I was saying, if you just follow those trends, like if you just watch the tops when it's going down and then watch the bottoms when it's going up, then yeah. Oh, you know what is actually kind of interesting right here? It looks like I don't know, I wonder if we're getting some sort of like neckline where it might be inverse shoulder, head, shoulder. If we could break that going to the upside, maybe you would target from the top to the bottom of that inverse head and shoulders. Let's go ahead and do that just for fun real quick. And then boom, something like that. About .428 again. The previous resistance up here. If it can, I don't know. See, that's why I'm like, I don't really want to, I'm kind of cautious right now because of how fast that moved. Yeah, I bought it down here. Okay, so came up, started going down. I thought it might have just been ready to move to the upside because that's what happened in the past. I talked about that in my last video. I was like, what if we just start blasting through to the upside? But we got resistance and started hanging down. But so once we started heading down, I was like, okay. And I think it was in this area. I was like, okay, I hit my target. It seems like we're losing momentum and starting to head down. Let's go ahead and take profits. And then I'll put up the limit order again. It came down, filled the limit order. Now we're getting a bounce. Now I'm kind of like, okay, so I have a position here. Do I want to take profits and try to set up the limit order again? Or do I want to wait and see if we can kind of reverse and start heading back to the upside? The reason I say I'm wondering if we're reversing is because we came down, found resistance, came down, came up, we came down, got support, came up, got resistance, came down, got support, came up, got resistance. We got resistance in the same area right here. And then this was a lower low. This was a similar high. So maybe that's why I'm saying maybe we're doing something like this. And if we break that going to the upside, that would be that. And this pattern, like inverse head and shoulders or head and shoulders, is basically a reversal pattern. So if you're going up and then you get this, and then it's a reversal pattern going to the downside. This one, when you're coming down, something like that, and then reversal. It's because this one's getting lower lows, and then all of a sudden you get a higher low like that. So yeah, let's see. And then there's also this resistance line right here. Sorry, this one usually comes up to like right here. Boom, boom, boom. There's this resistance line right there. Boom. Once you break that, then you can target from the bottom to the top of that pattern and then drag that to the breakout, something like that. And then you get that target, something like this. I don't know, just kind of thinking, kind of looks interesting. Let's see if that happens. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm watching the 5-minute time frame right now. Let's see. I kind of what it would be nice to see, because like I said, I just bought a little bit more. I wouldn't mind it going down. I want to accumulate more Dogecoin right now, but I was watching this like at the beginning of the video. We had this nice little run, and then like kind of like this little channel pattern. If we could break that going to the upside, we could be looking at a flag pattern. I don't love the way that like flag looks technically. I mean, it looks, I don't know, kind of like it just like a big downtrend at this point. But let's see if it pops up. I don't know. But what I do know is the Fibonacci retracement levels have been coming in handy like crazy. If you guys have been trying it out, let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you guys want to support the channel, you can join the memberships or click on the Patreon below. That'd be pretty cool. Also, about to hit 10,000 subscribers. If you click subscribe, that'd be cool if you're not already subscribed. If you want to watch the last video, check it out right here. And if you're new to trading, check out this playlist right here. And it'll help get you started. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.